There are a few things that I do like to get my chickens in the summer months. Some of them do cost money, but as always, I'm going to give you a low cost or a free option. Hello friends, welcome to Chickenlandia. My name is Dahlia. I'm a backyard chicken educator, also known as the president of Chickenlandia. Raising chickens has been the best way for me to find peace and joy in my life, and I want to help you find that too. Vega, are you still trying to eat my buttons now? Somebody told me I need to be very careful because you cannot eat a button for real. She's been super sweet, still a little bit timid, still likes to talk a lot, and we are having a lot of fun, aren't we, sweetheart? Yes. Okay, actually I'm gonna put you down, okay? So honestly, I know I'm kind of late making this video. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and up here it is like still kind of cold. Like today, it's like, I'm doing this summer video and it's like overcast here. It's still getting pretty cold at night, and I grew up in Texas, so I know what it's like to live in an area where it gets very hot. And I know that many of you are like in full-blown summer by now. And I also know how hard it is for some of you to get your chickens through the summer. And if this is your first summer with chickens, you might be a little bit worried about it. Don't worry, we're gonna get through it. I'm gonna tell you about some things today that I think are important to have to get your chickens through this time. One thing that is probably, I would say, the most important thing, aside from just like your chickens having fresh water in the summer, which is kind of a no-brainer. But another thing that is pretty much as important as that is your chickens need to have the appropriate amount of shade. Like, they need to have a lot of shade. They need to be able to get out of the sun. And if you're realizing right now, you know what, I think I don't have enough shade, it is so easy to create shade. Of course, you can buy like something that is made specifically to create shade. You can buy that and put that in your chicken yard. You can buy a tarp and put that in your chicken yard as shade. But honestly, like, you can create shade out of so many things. You can create it out of a big piece of wood. You can create shade just by hanging up a sheet or cardboard. You can even use cardboard to create shade. I have done that before in a pinch, and I've also used an old umbrella. Don't be afraid to get creative. You have lots of options, and just remember that shade is so important. The other thing that you can do is, if you're realizing right now that you don't have enough shade in your chicken yard, do what you need to do to get through this summer season and then start to think about next summer. So you might want to plant some things in or around your chicken yard. Evergreen bushes are great because chickens don't really destroy them that much, but you have to protect them when they're growing. Or maybe you could even plant some trees, and you will have to protect its roots while it's growing, or your chickens will destroy it, okay? Those can be some things that will help you in future years to create some natural shade in your chicken yard. Okay, I'm gonna go into my coop and talk to you about something that is super annoying in the summer. The other day, Julie came over. She helped me clean out the chicken coop, and I gotta tell you, it was so dusty because in the warmer months, dust can be a real issue in your coop. And it's so funny because I feel like we're always like fighting humidity in our coops, and then all of a sudden, at least where I live, all of a sudden in the summer, it's just like so dry. I'm gonna tell you some of the things I do that help with the dust. Number one is I keep dusters in my coop. I got this one here from an outlet store. It's an outlet store that I love to go to and buy little things at in Bellingham, and that really helps. And I just use it a few times a week. Whenever I think about it, I will dust some things down. I also have some dusting rags that I always have hanging up in my coop, and you may have seen them in my videos. And that's another thing. I can even dampen these down and just dust just a little bit every few days just to keep that dust level down. But even that, it's really tough to keep it down. Another thing that has really helped out the dust level in here is I recently switched back to using hemp bedding. I know some of you guys have asked, like, I thought you were using hemp bedding, and I was there for a while, but I stopped using it. I started using straw during the winter, straw and just regular pine shavings. And then I switched back to hemp because hemp has so much less dust. At least the kind that I buy does. And full disclosure, I get my hemp from My Favorite Chicken. They send it to me. I've been working with My Favorite Chicken for a very long time. I love that company. I'm super loyal to them and they're super loyal to me. But the reason for that is that I love their products. So they sent me some hemp and it is really good quality. And I've used hemp before a long time ago that wasn't that great quality and it was more dusty. So anyway, this is a lot less dust being generated in here because of the hemp bedding. We put the hemp bedding down and I have never seen my chickens go crazy over bedding, but they went crazy. I think maybe there might be seeds in it or something, but they just went nuts. They were super happy. So my chickens seem to really like it. Now, one thing I want to mention, because I do talk about things being accessible to everyone, hemp is more expensive than other types of bedding. Now, I have found that I have to change it out less. If you're using deep litter, it works really well with deep litter. So if you can buy it once, buy as much as you need once, it's gonna last for a really long time if you're doing deep litter. But always get what you can afford. No judgment from me. I'm never gonna tell you, if you don't use hemp, you're not doing it right. Get what you can afford. If it's a little bit dustier, that's okay. Keep some dusters in or around your coop and just stay on top of the dust, and you'll be golden. So you might not know this, but if it gets really hot, like if you have a significant heat wave going on, your chickens will probably stop laying. And it is very likely that during the hottest part of the summer, they're just not gonna lay during that time. Don't worry about it. It's just, they're giving their bodies a rest. Being in such heat is hard work and it's stressful for them. So they're gonna take a rest and they will start laying again once it cools up a little bit. But even though your chickens are not laying, they still need really balanced nutrition. So in Chickenlandia, we always focus on balanced nutrition. We don't just focus on one thing, we focus on keeping everything balanced. With that in mind, remember that hens that are of laying age always need a calcium supplement, whether they're laying or not. What I like to use in Chickenlandia is the flaked oyster shell from Small Pet Select. I don't know what it is about this particular oyster shell. The company contacted me. This is another disclosure here. They contacted me. They said, can we send you this oyster shell? And I was like, sure. It's another calcium supplement that my chickens are not going to be very excited about. But they actually eat this one. Like, I have seen them actively eat it. Usually you can have it out and you don't really see them eating it, but you know that they get it when they want it. The flaked oyster shell specifically, they seem to really like. So that is what I use here in Chickenlandia. You can use your chicken's eggshells crushed up and fed back to them. That is a valid way to get some calcium into them. If you do that, I want you to also focus on some calcium-rich scraps for them. So just think of some foods, some nice leafy greens that are rich in calcium, something that's nutritious for them. So that way you know that they're kind of replenishing those stores and they're getting everything that you need. And if it's scraps, you're eating healthy, right? So you're passing what you don't eat onto your chickens, which people have done for millennia. That won't cost you anything, and that's awesome. But of course, I just always remind people, calcium is not the only thing that your chickens need. They need that balanced nutrition, which leads me to something that is very important to think about in the summer. Adding electrolytes into your chicken's water during a heat wave is a wonderful way for them to not only stay hydrated, but get some important nutrients and minerals into their body during such a stressful time. You can find pre-packaged electrolytes, vitamins, and probiotics at your local farm store. You can buy them online. Another thing that you can do is you can make them at home, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. You guys may already know this, but I am a Redmond salt super fan. I have been a real salt fan for a really long time. In fact, I walk around with a little real salt shaker in my purse because I just don't like to use any other salt. Well, they have an agricultural division of their company, and so I use the agricultural salt for my electrolytes that I make for my chickens, and it's really good stuff. It just has a lot of minerals in it, a lot of nutrients in it for them. I do think it's the best quality. Again, you can use any sea salt that you have in your cupboard. This is what I like to use, so I do want to tell you about it. You want a good quality salt, but just do the best that you can. Okay, so here are the very easy directions on how to make your own electrolytes for your chickens. First, you're going to make the electrolyte powder. You're going to mix 4 tablespoons of baking soda and 4 tablespoons of the Redmond agricultural salt or a sea salt that you have on hand together. Then store that in a cool place. You can put it in a nice jar and just store it in a cool, dry place until you're ready to make the electrolytes. When you're ready to make the electrolytes, you just need 1 gallon of water. Add 2 teaspoons of your electrolyte powder to that water and 1 tablespoon of raw honey to that water and stir. And that's it. That's all you need to do. Now here is a pro tip, because raw honey can be very thick. I will take it and I'll mix it with a little bit of warm water, not hot, warm water, and then I'll add it in, and that kind of breaks it apart a little bit so it's not just this glob at the bottom of the gallon container. But anyway, your chickens are gonna love that. It's going to keep them hydrated. It's going to get some good minerals into them. During the stressful time, I really do recommend offering them some electrolytes during a heat wave. So today I talked about some things that you need to have on hand, some things that you need to get through the summer, but this is not the only information you need to get your chickens through the summer. And I don't want to mince words. Summer, depending on where you live, can be the most dangerous time for your chickens. Even heat-hardy chickens will sometimes need help to get through the hottest days. And you need to know what to do before you get to that point. I hope it's not already to that point where you live. I do have a playlist about getting your chickens through the summer. It's got more information about some things that you can do. It's on the screen right now. And of course, it's 100% friendly. Backyard chickens, education, and entertainment. And I know you're gonna love it. It's cold out here.